Take 4. Response for brown political kid guy. Flip, I don't even know what it is. Whatever. This one's for you. Sucks that you had a crappy holiday. Mine was a bit better, as I'm married and my separated wife decided to spend the night for the first time in months at my place. And she's like, I don't need to submit to your authority, we're equals. And I'm like, well, if you want to be equals, that means equal responsibility and accountability. Are you up for that? Oh, no. I only participate in equity and equality when I benefit from it. Sure. Then we're equals. And if you have an equal opportunity to live apart, I guess so do I. Huh. Wow. My thought process goes something like this. The truth is what it is. And the only thing that the truth needs is to be shared. And eventually, by sharing the truth will set everyone free. So where to start? I can tangent all over the place all day long, and I'm going to try to be concise. A lot of the problems started with the Holy Roman Empire. Bam, said it. Right there. It's where a lot of our law foundationally comes from, that we're being abused by. And the law that has the best track record comes out of the Torah, which is the Old Testament, as it was originally written in Hebrew. And the Torah was clarified when Jesus came onto the scene and got 12 guys around and was like, hey, I went to the mystery schools in Egypt. I went to the Reiki schools in the Tibet mountains. I know shit. Because that's basically what he did. And he was like, bruh, this is what the word says, and this is what it means. And the reason why he had such mastery over the knowledge is he had some education that the leaders at that time either didn't know or purposefully obscured to keep people more compliant. Almost reminds me about how attorneys do that nowadays. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Basically, you protect yourself financially by having things owned by a trust, and you being the trustee and beneficial recipient of the trust. And if you can have somebody put stuff into the trust that isn't you, even better, but you can always put your own shit into a trust to protect it. However, the one thing you may not want to do is put land that you want to domicile at as land in a trust, but rather land in your name. And that's a rabbit hole, but I'll let Yusuf on High Frequency Radio explain that shit. Or if you want, you could go to don'tbeaslave.com and listen to Joe Brandon Williams, who's also on YouTube, talk about the theory of what it means to become a state citizen or a United States national. Because when Abraham Lincoln passed the 14th Amendment to create the United States citizen, they expanded it and created a citizen group for everybody, and then forced it upon everybody with the Social Security card much later during the Great Depression, when the United States robbed its populace of its real money. And ever since 1964, when we stopped using silver for currency, Shit took a nosedive pretty quick after that, which is why people that kind of grew up in that era were still able to work a job and pay for stuff and accumulate wealth under a system of monogamy, of enforced monogamy, which goes all the way back to the Holy Roman Empire, which arguably is what's controlling the United States right now, the corporate United States. And basically, the people are saying that you need to reject the benefits and privileges afforded to United States citizens and lean on your state citizenship or become a United States national in order to become a party to we the people who have inalienable, unalienable, God-given, constitutionally protected rights. Whew. Anyway, this brings me to the last thing of biblical dating and the problems it avoids. The advice you got about dating multiple women at the same time is empirically good advice. Ideally, you only have one woman. However, we do not live in an ideal world, and because we do not live in an ideal world, there are less than ideal solutions that are permitted according to the Torah, that being polygyny, meaning one man, multiple women, meaning not polygamy, because polygamy is an umbrella term that could mean polyamory, polysandry, or polygyny. Polyamory being multiple dudes and multiple girls, the second one being multiple men and one girl, and the last one being one guy and multiple girls. There's only one that makes sense biologically, and that is one guy and multiple girls. So, there you have it. For those who are wondering, polygyny is Polygyn, as in Nancy, Y. Polygyny. And it used to be the norm for about 30% of the population when it's actively practiced. Meaning, ideally, most people are able to enjoy the ideal marriage. However, not every woman is an ideal woman and do not deserve the ideal result. Nor does every man meet the definition of being an ideal man and deserve the ideal result either. God being an unchanging God with with unchanging weights. Almost spoken error there. But anyways, it sucks. Christmas sucked. Mine kind of did too, but it was a bit better. Neener. I have a wife, but she's living apart because she thinks, she believes in feminist bullcrap that says you're equal to a man and you have just as many rights and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, bruh, the only reason why rights are rights is because there was a might to protect them. And if you can't protect your rights, you don't have rights. That's what makes rights rights, is might makes right. Ah. And all that shit was equalized when the Colt was invented, I think it was. When firearms became readily accessible to everybody, women had a way to overcome the physical might of men through artificial use of weapons. Before then, it was just poison. But guns are a great equalizer, and honestly, the answer is not to use guns. It's just to have them and know how to use them. There's an anime that I remember watching on Crunchyroll. It's like a boy and a bear or something. Anyway, the storyline is the emperor of this animal kingdom is trying to find a successor so he can retire and become a god of decisiveness, even though he is categorically indecisive. But I digress. I feel like I am the rabbit. Anyways, in this world, everybody, and I mean everybody, carries a sword. Nobody uses the swords against one another, but the threat of violence is always there. And the idea is an armed society is a polite society. And I think the reason why there are swords and not guns is because swords take actual skill and discipline to use, whereas any old person can misuse or use a gun. And bullets are much quicker than swords, by and large. I've seen a cool video of this one black kid in some urban setting take his katana and slice a bullet in half, but you know, exceptions are rare. I don't expect everybody wielding a katana being that capable, because I remember watching another video where you have a bunch of Japanese people at some dojo and they're chopping these bamboo things, and most of them have a hard time chopping through them, and the master comes along and he does it in one fell stroke, and it's so effortlessly smooth. You're like, oh, that is so cool. But yeah, no exceptions. So I've basically become the exception. You have to learn something that's uncommon enough that people will pay you money for, and then leverage the fuck out of it. Oh. Well, as my response, we're a couple days away from the new year, so I hope next year goes better than this one. However, what I know about conspiracy, our phones are going to be shut off for a good chunk of time, and that's going to cause a good panic next year. Double up on the fact that I bet that's going to happen after the election. No, I don't know. That's hard to say. Basically, there's going to be some kind of scare event where people aren't going to be able to get access to the internet. It's still going to be there. It's just like Comcast. I think the only ones that are going to have internet at that point is going to be like flipping Elon Musk and those who have a sat link, at which point those people could just be like, I got the Wi-Fi, and pay and just live off of that short period of time of we can't use our debit cards. This is gonna be a mess. Buy food. Everybody who preps is like, have a place away from the city. But even if you have a place in the city, as long as it's not like an apartment complex, a house has definite advantages over an apartment complex. Unless you're chill with everybody in your complex, you know their names, you're constantly chit chat, and then that might be a different situation. But oh, what else? No, I think well, I listened to the X-22 report. He's rather chipper and consistent with his narrative. I also like HOMATH, HOE_MATH. I think he's on the right track. I don't think he's correct about the whole monogamy versus polygamy thing. But, you know, broken clock, right? Twice a day, something like that. He's really smart and on the money. Except for that one thing I would argue. My own family's like, dude, we don't practice polygyny anymore. And I'm like, bro, I don't want to practice it either. I'd rather my wife be a wife, not some man trying to compete with me with her artificial dildo. My apologies for the silence. I can usually monologue much better, and it's just a spastastic, fantastic stream of consciousness. Almost like David Wilcox. Oh, dude, that guy's awesome. His lives go on for like hours, but it is once he gets going, it is a continuous drip of mind-altering knowledge. Like I grew up Mormon, or as a Latter-day Saint. Hell, I'm a direct descendant of the first patriarch of the church. And I'm looking at what's going on. I'm like, yeah, no, the last patriarch we had was like, we're not prepared for another one. And another one, I don't even know what it'll take to get another patriarch in the Mormon church. But I bet you it's going to be a polygynist. And it's going to come outside the church. I don't have any objections to being that person. However, I don't really meet the qualifications that I feel is required of such. However, lineage does play a big part in that, so maybe? I don't know. Basically, the polygynist argument is that biblically, Abraham, Solomon, David, and a number of other priests and prophets and patriarchs practiced polygyny, and God blessed them and their descendants as such. So yeah, I think one of the things that the LDS Church has continued to get right is an importance on ancestry. Because if you know what your history is, you can make choices to not repeat it, or intentionally repeat it. In the case of like fire, the wheel, axioms of power, basically. So, look, it's 20 minutes. I usually like listening to stuff that's like 2 hours. But you know, that content's going to take some serious research and just mind cranking away at actually making stuff. If I get comments on topics that I have talked about in this regarding what you would like to learn more of, I'll make that video. Until then, peace.